Hey everyone, welcome back to Let's Talk About It, a show for millennials, Generation Z, and everyone who's watching. And we're talking about everything under the sun. My name is Fardacia. I'm the co-host. Let's talk about it.
And I'm Dominique Johnson. I'm another co-host for Let's Talk About It.
Yes. So first, we want to thank you all for joining us for another week. And this month was Black History Month, so we really enjoy all of our Black History Month features for the month. And on today's episode, we will be talking about love, Black love, relationships. So we're going to get into the nitty gritty about love, and we'll also be discussing, love in Hollywood and the example of Black love. So today will get very interesting, so make sure to comment, share this video, engage, and we're going to get it popping. So today we have two special guests that I want to introduce. Our first guest is Edward Fox. He's a very great friend of mine. He is the CEO of Fox Emergence. It's a digital marketing agency. And we also have Ambria Berksteiner. She's Miss Savannah 2018, the current Miss Savannah, and she's also an engineer and STEM activist. So I just want to bring them into the show and welcome them to Let's Talk About It. Hey, Andrea.
Hi, I'm excited to be on here today. Long time coming.
What's good, Fox?
Hey, I'm so glad to be on here today. Thank y'all so much for having me. I want to be valuable to y'all and just, share some of my views.
Mm-hmm. And we're glad to have a male perspective. So things should get really spicy this episode.
Not too spicy. Not sriracha up in here.
Oh. All right.
Yeah, so to begin this show, we're going to start off by talking about love and what you guys define as love. So what do each of you define as, what is love to you? What does it mean? What does it mean for romantic love specifically to you? Any one of you can jump in.
Ladies first.
Love to me is everything. Like when the world is at war, all we need is love. So love to me is just, being compassionate and considerate of others, and just making sure everyone is welcome. Like unconditional love. Don't let anything come between you. Treating your neighbor with respect, and just watching and seeing everyone grow. That's like my overall definition of love.
Love for me. I'm only 26, so we'll see. Let's pull. Love for me would be empathy, compassion, like you said, Star, quality time. And this just doesn't have to be like in a romantic setting. It could be like a loved one, family, friends. And love for me is being transparent.
Dominic.
Yes, I agree with all of that. I feel like love is unconditional and it's authentic and it's seeing each other for who you really are, but loving anyway. Despite, that's what I think love is.
Yes.
That is so sweet and idealistic. All of that. That's so cool. Like, oh my gosh. Like that's really nice. What I see love is one of the greatest things about love to me is love is protecting. You could be protecting a person from what you say, think, and feel, and how you act sometimes. You have to look at love as in, if I truly love this person, how can I say and do something to them that's going to enrich them, not only mentally, but spiritually and emotionally and things like that. So as a man, I do see love as providing something for a person. And it may not be just financially, which is what a lot of people talk about. but there's more to life than money. I chase money enough, and I know there's more to life than money. But I really do see love in the way that the Bible tells us to see love. Love is patient, love is kind. Once y'all use the word compassionate and empathy, I start to think, okay, now I guess they be reading the Bible a little bit. But like love is like the most important thing in the world, because God is love. Life is about love, period. Because I can get a touch of any great thing we call great on this earth, but love is what feels the best to me.
And what does it mean to truly be in love? Listen, if I would just be honest, I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna be real. Growing up and like kind of understanding what's the true meaning of love, I've never been in love, and then these movies, that they portrayed to us as we were young, like Cinderella and, all princess movies, like love is just a fairy tale. Clearly that's not true. So, for me, what does it mean to truly be in love? Like Fox said, it's to be protected, it's for me to feel secure, like, I'm protected in the relationship, so I can chase my dreams. I can be 100% my authentic self. I can make mistakes and not be judged. Like just having that trust and that protection to grow. I feel like that's when you know what I'm saying, you can really step into like being in love with someone.
And I think that I think that Cinderella, that example that you bring up, I feel like that's an aspect of love. Like there is like this fairy tale or almost romantic side that could be a part of it. But what they don't highlight is the other side of it, which is also a part of it. And so I feel like a lot of people fear when it's not a fairy tale that something's wrong. But that's not the case, because love is unconditional and it is supposed to be more than just a fairy tale. Like a true relationship isn't always going to be fairy tales, and there's going to be moments where you're going to disagree, and that's where or there's going to be moments where, like you said, you make a mistake, and that's where that unconditional love comes in. So I think that that's one side of the coin, but not the whole story.
Right.
I can speak now.
Go ahead.
Okay, awesome. I want to wait my turn. Maybe I've gotten so used to conditional love from certain people or from what people talk about. But what I want to first talk about is when we talk about being in love with another person, we need to first be loving God, loving ourselves, and then knowing how to love others around us. And I would say we need to be looking at love first from just a friends and family perspective, because I think a lot of people talk a lot about the romantic love, or let's say Eros love, if we're going to start breaking it down into Greek words.
We'll get into that.
Yeah, but I really think we need to be talking about loving ourselves first and foremost. Loving yourself includes like, hey, if you know there's a habit that you have that's not good for you, cut it out. Like seriously, like, and I'm working on this myself, so I'm not just speaking. I got up like 7-something this morning and went to the lake, and I was playing basketball, and it felt good just to be up there, get me some cardio in, and that's something I really care about. I care about drinking almost a gallon of water a day. I care about the things I put in my mind, and all of that I'm putting into myself is going to roll over into the relationship that I have with my friends, family, the people at the barbershop I just left, because you see I got the fresh cut, and that's self-love right there too. I know I'm about to get on, I'm about to get on TV today, so I'm like, I gotta look the part. I was gonna do that anyway because that's how I am, but
okay.
But it's just like self-love will roll over into how you love other people, and that's very important, because that's where we first start. We first start with loving God, loving ourselves, and loving our neighbors. Then how you love your family is going to change. It's going to advance. How you love your friends is going to change. It's going to advance. And how you love your potential romantic partners, that's going to be like really cool, because one thing I say when it comes to me in a relationship for the future, I'm not in a relationship now, but how I'm looking at it as a man, I enjoy women, right? I'm gonna tell you something. I had a client ask me, she said, how do you enjoy women if you don't have sex with them? I'm like, there's way more to women than sex. Like, it really is. There's like women, and I have to explain this to people. I say women are people with thoughts, goals, dreams, aspirations, and all this other stuff that they come with, right?
Mm-hmm.
And also I started thinking, I was like, said, yeah, not sex, but it's like, that's lame. That's lame to think. It's like, there's so many other things. Like, women are friends. I was telling somebody yesterday, y'all seen that movie, Finding Nemo? The sharks are like, fish are friends, not food. I told this girl, I was like, yo, women are friends. So I'm about to say women are friends, not food. But it's like, there's really more to life than just that. And I'm saying that to say we should think more about how we can love ourselves and how we can love in friendly relationships instead of just thinking we should only show our highest levels of love when it comes to somebody that we want to have sex with. And it's like, there's more to life than it's just that we have more relationships than only the romantic relationships.
And you mentioned a great point, like we mostly, pinpoint love as romantic love. And it's like you can fall out with your boyfriend or your girlfriend a million times and then get back together. But when you have a disagreement with your homegirl or your homeboy, y'all suddenly stop talking and y'all been friends for years. And that's an issue, like definitely that's an issue. And sisterhood, brotherhood is really important for us to know how to love each other in that, spectrum, because we won't always agree. But what are your thoughts, Ambria?
My thoughts, I actually was going to bring up what Edward said. Sorry, what Fox said.
Edward Fox works. You can say it all together. Edward Fox.
what you said. I was actually going to bring that up, like just loving yourself. I also feel like we have this pressure as young people to have a boyfriend, to have a girlfriend. Like, I know as soon as I graduated from school, people were like, oh, when are you getting married? Where's your man? Like, like just, and not that that's anything that's wrong with them asking that, they just asking. But of course, that puts like pressure on you to say, oh my gosh, like, do I need to have someone? Like,
Right.
Am I supposed to, is it wrong to be like by myself and working on like a friend or the next step in life? So I think a lot of millennials, and I won't even say just millennials, Gen Z, I would say just anybody has that pressure. I won't even say in the Black community. Maybe I'll say maybe it's more pushed when you're young. Like Star and Dominique, as like a woman who's about to turn 30 or close to 30, how it's like seen as like shameful if you don't have a potential maybe like husband or someone like that, right? And so I think that's what causes a lot of problems. Well, one of the reasons, one of the factors that causes a lot of problems in relationships is they're just like jumping into them. Like Edward was saying, you're not taking the time to say, okay, am I okay? Do I have everything in line? Am I ready to find my person? So if I had to just like point out my main things that I see for not just for myself, but just for just young people, I would say what Edward said, us not having self-love, us being pressured by, sometimes it's our own family. Even mom and dad will say, you don't have a boyfriend yet, you don't have a girlfriend yet. Grandma.
Grandkids.
Yes, grandkids and all that. So I would say just being, pressured unintentionally, because, sometimes you just know it's out of love.
Right.
And then number 3, just the thought of feeling lonely. I don't think I mentioned that. You feel like, especially during the pandemic, if you don't have someone, I know for me, I don't, I'm not in a relationship right now, but, it can be, you can find yourself slipping into those thoughts like, oh, like, if I had a boyfriend, like we could do this and we could do that, during quarantine. And I mean, I was with my family, thank God. But you know how you just want like someone there to be like, oh, this is such so I think that's everybody. So
okay, so we're gonna back it up a bit and discuss some Greek terminology concerning love. So we have agape versus phileo. Did I say that right? Phileo versus eros love. Okay, so I'm gonna like sum it up for everyone. So first, agape love is God's love. It's unconditional love. That's agape love, and I think that's really the most important. That's just my perspective.
Mhm.
Then you have filial love, and that's like, friendships, like the supportive type of love. Like you want to see someone grow, you want to support that person. So that's filial love, and then the spicy love, the Eros love, is the romance and physical attraction, things in that nature. So I feel like it's cool, to kind of break up the different definitions of love because it's easy to get, them kind of tangled with each other. And that's how a lot of relationships are misunderstood. So, any comments about agape versus filial, Eros?
Go ahead, Eric.
I think there's one left out. There's a fourth one. It's called stergate, and the stergate is more about familial love, like how I love my brothers or I love my little cousins or my mom and things like that. And what I would say is we do all of those agape, filial, and eros. We do that in order to create family, which is the stergate love. If I find when I find a wife, I'm gonna agape, filial, and eros love her, and then it's gonna be stergate love. Cause like, yo, this not only this my wife, this is my homie right here. It's my homie. So, I guess my homegirl. I'm not gonna call her my homegirl in front of the other homies. Like, yeah, this is my wife. She's amazing. But it's like all of this is to build family. Everybody that we come in contact with, and like Miss Ambria said, sometimes you feel lonely. That's actually one of people's 8 fundamental fears, is the fear of living and dying alone. And I understand that people feel that, because I used to feel that in the past, but I'm like, yo, I love me. Look at me. I'm just so handsome. I'm a caring person. I like to hype people up. I like to show love. And it's like, I have no problem with me being in the house with me, just chilling, watching movies, studying something, reading, writing out plans for business or anything, because I love me and I'm not going to feel alone. And then also, I'm pretty attractive when it comes to my spirit and the looks. So it's like there's people I can hit up and say, hey, let's go do something. And they want to do it. Cool. But again, we all are tribal, social beings because we want to have a big old family. And that's really what this is about. So let's not ever forget about the stergate love, the love between a brother and sister, or the another thing, the friends that turn to family. I got a homie named Darius. We've been cool for 10 years. It's about to be 11 years this June. So it's like, oh, my guy Christopher Crawford. Like this is a good guy right here. That's turning to stergate love. So
what are some of y'all's relationship goals? Like, I know you say that for you, you said that you're not in a relationship yet, but you felt like you kind of have this pressure to be in one. But what are your relationship goals when you do decide, or if you decide that you want to settle down with somebody? And you can answer this too, Edward. What are some of your relationship goals?
I feel like that has been the hashtag of the pandemic, because I don't know if you guys are familiar with like Pastor Mike Todd's book and how it blew up, and obviously everybody's like relationship goals. I don't know. Like I remember I told someone asked me the question. We were in a discussion for the book, and I said all of the relationships that I have been exposed to, like while they were positive in some way, they didn't last. So you don't know what to quite ask for. Well, almost for me, I'm like, okay, yes, I would want a partner to be compassionate. Yes, I want a partner to be attentive. Yes, I want me and my partner to love God together and love ourselves, etc. But when you don't have, I mean, I guess you can reach back to like grandma and things like that. But you see like your friends. I have young friends that divorce. Parents, people I've known for years that don't stay together, and it's like, wow. Like I told my mom the other day, I was like, I'm kind of scared.
Like, that's real. That's
getting married.
Real.
Like everybody wants to get married one day, and well, not everyone. I won't say not all women want to get married, but most women want to get married and, you know, have that family, have that white picket fence, have that house. And, you know, I'm still feelings of being scared to, you know, just kind of take that leap of faith and say, okay, is this my person? It feels like my person, but, you know, is that?
I think that's a common fear.
Sure.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a common fear. I feel like a lot of people nowadays especially have a fear of commitment because at least from I can resonate with that. I grew up with a lot of people that I knew that were divorced. So I didn't never see a lot of good examples of lasting relationships. And so in my mind I thought, is that even possible? And that gets into our next topic about like some of these Black power couples that we see nowadays in Hollywood. What do you think, like, what are some examples of today of possible couples that are maybe good examples of a relationship, or what are some you think are like maybe more toxic examples of a relationship? Like, how do you think they affect?
We can start with good examples first.
Okay.
Wait, Hollywood. Okay, I was thinking, I don't think you can consider Barack Obama and Michelle Hollywood, but you know, as far as a Black power couple, I would say, you know, Barack and Michelle because they didn't have social media back then. You know, Michelle didn't have to deal with, you know, she was 100% herself. She didn't have any society standards to, you know, compare herself to, and she was herself. She loved herself. She pursued her dreams, and that's how she found her person because she knew her purpose. And I feel like that's a great example as a Black power couple because you have to know your individual purpose before you can collectively unify. You know, because a marriage is all about partnership. You know, it's a business. And if you don't know your purpose, if you don't know what you were called to do, you can feel overshadowed by your husband. You know, if he's in a certain position. So a positive, you know, Black power couple, I would say Barack and Michelle Obama. If I could think of another one, Hollywood. Whew.
It's hard.
That's what it is hard.
Denzel and Pauletta.
Oh yeah, Denzel Washington, Pauletta, and you know what? She's so dope. Like Miss Washington, you know, because Denzel Washington, you know, he's an actor. He's you know really attractive. And I remember one time I was watching her interview with Oprah, and she was talking about how you know she was pregnant. She was like 6 months pregnant, and they were at a red carpet event, and this pretty, you know, petite girl came in between her and Denzel and started flirting with her man. And she didn't flinch. And Oprah was like, well, why you didn't flinch? She was like, because that same man come home to me. Hey, that's how you know you confident. You have to be confident. Yes, great example. Oh my goodness. Great example.
Oh, sorry, Dom.
I was gonna ask, what do you guys think about the difference between, say, like Beyonce and Jay-Z's relationship? Because you know, that whole thing happened where Jay-Z cheated on Beyonce, then the Lemonade album happened. But then, you know, now we also have Cardi B and Offset, and there's a lot of like scandalous Offset, you know, what do you think about all of that being, and how do you think that affects young people watching them and looking at these relationships as examples?
That's like 50-50 for me because it's kind of like you're telling our generation and generation after us that being cheated on is okay. Because, after, you know, he gets his cheat out or she gets her cheat out, you know, it's going to be this great love affair. But that's not always the case. And then it's like also they're showing a raw, real couple. Like, you know, like you were saying earlier, like Cinderella and Fairy Tale, like, you know, relationships are like that. I don't know. Cheating is never okay. For me, it's never okay. Let me just state that. But it's kind of hard to I won't even say for me. I feel like it's kind of hard to set the standards or set the boundaries, maybe, or give good examples of standards or boundaries because of all of that going on, like Kim and Kanye. And I know I just saw like Russell and Sierra, and how, you know, she went through a couple of relationships before she got to her Russell, you know, before she got to her her agape, her, you know, all of that. So that's kind of hard. I'm in between on that one. Like, it's kind of like, but it's like, oh, okay, if that makes sense.
There's some good and bad examples.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Beyonce, I mean, in my personal opinion, I feel like the way Beyonce and Jay-Z handled it, it was like it happened, but then I feel like, I don't know if you guys listened to her whole album, the Lemonade album, but it was like, so it beautifully like showed all the emotions that you go through when you're dealing with something like that, when you've been cheated on, like the anger, then the sadness and the questioning, all of that. But, you know, the decision to be with him, that was just, I feel like that was more of a whatever. And there wasn't no more, in my opinion, a lot of drama from that afterwards. That was almost an example of like, you know, if something like this happens, it's how you handle it maturely almost. I feel like she handled that pretty mature. But I feel like the difference is with like Cardi and Offset, it's a lot of drama. It's a lot of back and forth and, you know, like gossipy. It's messy, and I feel like that's more toxic. That's more like unhealthy to kind of witness and almost soak in as like in normalizing it within your own relationship. Do you guys disagree or agree with that?
I agree.
Go ahead, Fox. I want to hear the male.
Yeah, what do you think, Fox?
The only thing I can say is this is turning into the shade room real quick, and I'm not going to speak on other people's relationships.
What? Okay. Well, okay. I'm going to make my comment about Lemonade because I love that album. Like, oh my goodness. That album was everything. But, you know, I never looked at it, you know, from that perspective of her, you know, taking her route to express what she's been through within her marriage. And, you know, we have to be real sometimes. Cheating, infidelity goes on inside of a lot of different marriages. You know, but Beyonce's main thing was, I'm fighting for legacy. I'm fighting for my family. You know, like we have children together. And we've been doing this for too long. One of the lyrics she made on the Lemonade album, she was like, what was the song? Don't hurt yourself.
No.
Like, you're gonna lose your wife. If you don't get right, you're gonna lose your wife. And and she was showing off, like she really taught her SHIT. Like, and sometimes you have to do that. You have to show a man this is all you're losing. You're losing everything. You know what I'm saying? And so that was powerful. And as far as Cardi being Offset, I don't know what they do personally. But,
you know, a lot of it could be more of the, not them per se, but the way the media handles it and the way they just kind of broadcast these things, which, you know, that's not, and it's almost like, you know, we can't really necessarily blame them, but this is a type of almost normalized culture. Like, I feel like it's becoming normalized to see cheating in relationships and a kind of almost accepted. It's like, well, you know, it happened, you know? But when do you think, like, okay, so not just with cheating, but any other things that are happening in a relationship? You know, we talked about like loving someone unconditionally, but when is it time to let go? When is it time to just be like, all right, I can love you, but this is where this ends? You know, how do you know when to let go and when to, you know, continue to try?
Well, honestly, you have to figure out when does giving that person the benefit of the doubt, when does that expire? You know, because a lot of times we give a person chance after chance after chance, you know, to redeem themselves. And, you know, a person is growing, they may be going through their individual issues. So it's like, when does that expire? You know, like giving people a chance, because sometimes, you know, you can burn yourself out having all of this hope and potential, you know, and you're wasting time. So what are y'all thoughts on that? That's honestly, that's a big part of letting go, is just holding up that time to try to wait on that person to get it right, you know.
I mean, I think it also too, you know, has to do with when we were talking about like how you have to love yourself first. And you have to establish some sort of boundaries for yourself. And once you've placed that out in your relationship, say they cross that, if you give them an opportunity again and they continue to cross that boundary, then I feel like that shows that they don't really have that self-respect for you, and they don't love you enough to respect the boundaries that you've put in place. And therefore, that's when you should, I feel like, let go. But if it's something where maybe like they make a mistake, and maybe the boundary wasn't yet established, or maybe like you said, it was the first time, or whatever the case may be, then if you guys can sit down and talk it out and talk it through, and that's like a thing of the past, and it's not like something that they continue to cross, I feel like you'll know, like in that type of dynamic, I feel like then it's okay to stay. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Fox. Yeah.
I like this question, when to let go in a relationship. I think we should be putting a lot of time and attention into when to actually start or initiate a relationship. I think we should put like a lot of time into learning a person. Again, we go back to the different types of love. We can turn the Phileo love. We can see how this thing can work from a friendship into maybe a relationship in the future. Because again, I would say put a lot of time into learning a person. We need to see their habits, how they talk about themselves, how they think, how they speak, how they handle themselves in certain situations, how they handle their family members, their loved ones,
right? How
they talk to people at work. Just learn this person, see their habits, and see if this is a person that you would like to invest time into in a romantic relationship. Because there's a lot of people that feel like, oh, they get into a relationship with somebody and this is not exactly what they expected. Well, look at who that person is the whole time, besides this time where you're like, oh, I really like you. For this next 4 months or however long we're going to be in this relationship. Who were they? How did they act? How did they live before that point to where you were so interested?
But listen, though, sometimes we counterfeit, a person, they can fake the funk, like when y'all in the talking stages, they can seem like this person, and they're the perfect fit. But once you get inside a serious relationship, the pills start to unfold, things get real.
Yeah. But then that comes in, like, you're not gonna like everything about the person that you're with. You're not gonna meet somebody you like everything about them. There's definitely gonna be something, maybe, it's the way they walk, the way, something's trivial, but it's always gonna be something. But that's where it comes in. Can you love them anyway? Like, is it does the good outweigh the bad? I think you bring up the point, Fox, that like when to let go. You're talking about, knowing prior to, but like, Star was bringing up, like, things do come out authentically more so once you get into the relationship. And so if you're with someone and you start to discover that they maybe not be who you thought they were, when do you then think about, you think that's when it's time to go? What do you think? What do you think, Henry? You disagree with that?
No, I'm just thinking, like, from the jump, I'm looking at, is this something I could deal with for because you can think whatever you think about a person. You can feel like you love a person so much, and there's certain things, I had a conversation with Star and some more friends that night. Dominique, you were there. It's like, you got to look at the red flags, the yellow flags, whatever flags you're looking for, or to observe. Because I don't want to tell you just go into meeting people and look for the wrong in them. I'm not saying that. Definitely look for the good, but do not ignore the things that you are going to have a problem with now, 7 months, and 8 years from then.
Okay.
Like, definitely don't just be like, oh, well, I really like this person. Because I can tell you, I'm going to talk about my own relationships in the past. I have overlooked red flags because I feel like, you know what? I really feel like I love this person. No, it ain't about you're cute, because they all cute. Yeah. But it's just like,
looks.
Yeah, I mean, they could be really cute physically, but if they're not cute spiritually, in my opinion, I'm like, yo, this is thank you for your time. I really do say that because, again, like there was this one young woman I was spending some time getting to know in 2019. And I'm gonna tell you, no lie, y'all know how Sierra said she made this prayer or whatever. If it was like, would y'all rather have Sierra's prayer or whoever? I'm not even thinking about them. But what I did was in October of 2019, I was at one of my cousin's house. I was about to take a nap. I said, God, if there's anything about this woman that you want me to see, to let me know to not trust her, to not talk to her, please let me see it. I took a nap. 2 hours later, I looked at my phone. After I took my nap, I saw somebody I said, thank you, God. And guess what? That is a no-go. That's what I want you to pray and ask God for all the wisdom and understanding that you can get when it comes to yourself in your own actions, habits, and your thought process. Work on you every day because every day that you wake up is you and God. That's it. That's really what we got is you and God. Of course, we got our family members, but they're thinking and feeling and doing things in different ways. You can't make choices or decisions for anybody but yourself. You can't control nobody but you. So we talk about when to let go in a relationship. Your relationship with you and God is your most important relationship.
Yeah,
so look at self-preservation. Self-preservation is the first rule of the jungle, right? I need y'all to think about that and know that. There's a lot of people be like, oh, I love this person. Let me keep going through this. And I was that person at one time. That was years ago. Boy, that ain't it no more. Heck no. No. H-E-double-6 no. Ain't no, I'm about to sacrifice myself.
You know what? Like,
honestly,
thinking about everyone together, and that's true. You know, you do need to have a personal relationship with God because God knows, you know, what he has for you. And the devil is very deceiving, you know, and he wants to deceive us because he wants us divorced. He wants us unhappy. You know, he wants to destroy families, right? So that is important. You're supposed to have a relationship with God and be careful when you ask God questions because he will reveal it, you know, like, and honestly, when to let go in a relationship. Personally, from my personal experience, I kept getting the red flags to let go. And I was afraid. I was afraid to let go. And a lot of people that are in relationships, they are scared to let go because they are so, you know, attached to that person. So my next question is, what to do when you're afraid to let go?
Can I say that a lot of times we get ourselves in so deep, like you mentioned earlier, Star, when people, the boyfriend and girlfriend, they break up and they get back together a million times and all that. And then when it comes to a friend, it's like they say something you don't like and then y'all like done. That's because people be having sex way too early. Like for real. That's why I don't have sex actually. I'm not even trying to be funny.
Have relations. I don't think all millennials have like relations during relationships.
I know, but what I'm getting at is people are like getting so deeply invested with a person before it's time, and that's what makes you feel like you're afraid to let go. Like, oh, we have so much history, or we done did this already, and this and this and that. I'm like,
I'm just afraid
I'm gonna put you on Front Street because you know me and you cool. So what advice would you, because you was afraid to let go in one of your relationships, what advice would you give to a man who knows that's not his wife, but he's afraid to drop her? Like, it's people that like, I just had to put you on Front Street. I know it's a lot of but people are in these situations. Like,
no, it's true. Yeah, it is true. It can be hard. And then too, it could also be, you imagine the future with this person. So it's almost like you're watching everything that you plan crumble down in front of. It's hard. Like it's a hard.
Make sure you got your wedding plan, everything, baby shower.
Yeah,
baby shower.
I say this when things are looking like you're the person that wants it more than the two of you, man, let that dog go. And I ain't gonna lie to you, belief is only a thought that you think that you thought a bunch of times. Like if you have a habit of thinking a certain way, it becomes a belief. And your actions are an output of your belief. You'll move a certain way and act a certain way or speak a certain way based on what you believe. So if there are some things happening in your life that do not line up, change those thoughts, change those beliefs, because you are in control of you. You can't control nobody else. So I had a friend ask me, she was like, what do you want most in life? I'm like, I want God, love, and wisdom, and I want my Rolls Royce. And she like, you dumb. She like, I want love, and I'm like, yo, all that love stuff with loving another person, I feel you on that. I want something that I can control, which is me and my Rolls Royce. I can control the Rolls Royce. I cannot control no woman. I can't tell her how to spend her time. None of that. And then when y'all talking about relationship goals, I thought to myself, like, I really want a best friend that wants to be around me. That's what a relationship is, a person that really cares about you and love you and like really want to contribute to you, and they're working on themselves, fulfilling their own God-given purpose, and y'all just so happen to be around each other and y'all like each other. That's really what a relationship is in my point of view. Instead of
I'm sorry, you hit a key point. And actually my Mima addressed this. A lot of men, they want to feel needed. As the Black women and us having to have these independent roles, it's hard for us to submit ourselves to man and actually like let him feel needed. Like a man wants to feel like you need him, and that's a key point. Like I want you to be around. Like men really need that.
I've noticed that because like being a person, I think I shared this with you, Star, like a little bit earlier. Like being a person that's always on the go, always busy. I find that the number one thing that comes up is like, oh my gosh, you're always so busy. You're always on the go. And at first I took that as like, okay, like we're not supportive.
Are you not busy?
I am busy, but I am.
No, that's a common thing, yeah.
Yeah, and so it was kind of like, how not to feel guilty by like doing my own thing, but also how do I like, okay, I'm trying to make like the point here, because like I was saying, like, a lot of the things that would come up would be like, oh, you're so busy, you have this going on, you have X, Y, and Z going on. How come we can't do all this all the time together? Like just like not saying we have to be like on each other all day, but a significant amount of time. And at first I took it like, okay, they don't understand like my particular lifestyle as far as like, okay, I want to go to like the next level on certain things and certain projects and goals and visions and etc. But like you just said, I was like, okay, well now I have to not be, I won't say selfish, but learning how to like really balance, like, okay, relationship time and giving that person time and attention and love, and then like balancing what Ambria has to do. Because sometimes I get tunnel vision and say I have to finish what I'm doing, like I have to get this done. And I don't know if that's just like the ethic in me or like the hard worker in me, but yeah. But I know I mentioned that, so I think you are like one of you guys before. So
that's
that's a real thing. Like I can definitely resonate with that. I don't know if y'all have seen Think Like a Man. Like, but no, like that's exactly what Taraji's character, like that was her thing. Is she is this independent, Black woman, hard worker. She got her own thing going, and it was hard for her to find a man that was kind of comfortable with that. And where she
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but like not submissive, but you know what I mean, like someone that's like, yeah. I get
shine, but there is what Star was saying, that men naturally primal, they need to feel needed, like they want to feel like needed, and that they could do something for you. And if you kind of make them feel that they don't, that they can't, then that definitely is a real thing. And I think that was what Think Like a Man, what her character was exploring. I think that was interesting that you brought that up as something that you kind of have experienced a little bit.
That's why it takes time in relationships. Like you said, like you're learning, because you're so your individual purpose, Ambria. So you're going hard for you because nobody else will, do what you were called to do. So I feel like that's why we have to, just take the time to know who we are and grow. And then God, when his time is ready, he's going to bring that person that complements you, and align.
Exactly.
It can get hard though. I'm just kidding.
Out here.
I want to talk a bit on this. I know y'all say men like to feel needed. I don't know if I have that. I don't think I have that, because I think I've gotten so used to friendship and thinking that a relationship is just like a really close friendship, like, oh, we friends, like friends. But the thing about needs or feeling needed, I know this is something I've been talking about with people recently, is because y'all ever heard of Maslow's hierarchy of needs? I know Star and Dominique, we talked about this already earlier this week, but Ambria, are you familiar with that Maslow's hierarchy of needs theory? All right, I wish I could. Hold up. Oh my God. I wish I could like really show this to you like better on. Maybe I can send you the picture to your phone. Hold up. Because I really want you to see this when I start talking about it, it's like,
well, go ahead.
Like, this makes total sense. Okay, so basically, people have multiple levels of needs. First, there's the physiological needs. That's food, water, warmth, rest. Then safety needs, security and safety. And those are a part of the basic needs that we have. Those are two lower parts. Those are the basic needs. Then we have belongingness and love needs, intimate relationships, friends. And then we have esteem needs, prestige, and feeling of accomplishment. Those are the psychological needs. Then you have self-fulfillment needs or self-actualization, achieving one's full potential, including creative activities. Of course, that is a theory by Abraham Maslow, I believe his name was. I learned this in social work. You know, I was in college for a social work program a few years ago. But I strongly disagree with that, especially when it comes to romantic relationships, because you hear a lot of people online talking about how relationships are about a man fulfilling a woman's basic needs. And I hopefully I'm not misusing the word, but I really have feminist views. My favorite Disney movie is Mulan, because I love seeing strong women just doing them. And that's why I can say that I'm not one of those guys that subscribes to the, oh, I need to feel needed, because me and you are equal. You're a woman, I'm a man in the physical, but really we're spirits. So that's something to get to. Spiritually, I believe that relationships are about the spirit. Has God created this spirit for this other spirit? Or are they supposed to be linked and work together to fulfill God's plan for these people, these spirits on this earth? But when we start looking at earthly ways of thinking about relationship, they're like, okay, can this man pay for this, this, and that?
Yeah.
How tall is he? How does he look? How does this woman cook? Can you take her out to places? Who can you show her off to? It's like how many bodies she got. Like, people talk about stuff like that. I'm like, yo, that's wild, because you're really trying to diminish a person to their stats. Like, if we're looking at a stat sheet, people want to say, like, you have to read. I'm so sorry, but okay. We're going to start looking, like, they want people to look at them as stat sheets, like, okay, this is what we know. This is what they went to school for. This, how much money they make. If we're going to go into it, they say, what's their penis size? This, and this. Do they know what they're doing when it comes to that? What their mama do for a living? Yeah, like, that's exactly. That's what people are looking for. Especially, it's like, I really feel like people are shopping for products. I do not productize people. That's not cool. I'm not into that. That's true. We have to have some total higher observation of people and beings. People are not just about what can I get from this. Like, yo, that's how you look at a refrigerator on Lowe's.com. What the hell? Like, you don't look at people like that. That's not the move.
And that's why it's a lot of divorce rates. What you still say, Dom?
Yeah, but I think, allowing, like, having your man in your relationship feel needed goes beyond, like, him what he's providing. Like you say, we are spiritual beings, and I think both of you feeling needed in that relationship is important. If I'm your woman and you come to me and we like have like intimate conversation about like your emotions, but then you go to someone else and do that, I would feel kind of like, okay, well, like why, like, you know what I'm saying? It's like you both want to feel like valued and needed in that relationship, in that aspect that goes beyond financial providing and like the stats. It's more about like the actual nature of the dynamic between you two, I would say. But what do you think, like, what do you think about being in a relationship and feeling like, see, one person in the comments said, he said, but stats are important.
I think human nature, yeah. Like I know what Fox is saying, but like, of course you're gonna like look at a guy and be like, oh, okay, like you don't want somebody you're not like attracted to.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying about being like shallow or like superficial. Or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So stats,
it's
100% for me. I say at least 50.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, at least 50%. So
sorry. Who you are, you know, is this the future when starting a relationship?
Bring your resume. That's funny.
Yeah. you want to know who they are and like, you know, what they're about. But
well, technically, the first date is kind of an interview because you're asking someone, you know, where'd you go to school? Why'd you do this? You know, what are your goals in 5 or 10 years? You know, Uncle Steve. So yeah.
You know, but honestly, I think what's most important is you have to appreciate whoever God has to. You have to appreciate who that person, you know, who that person is. Like, I don't think it's fair, you know, and that's why comparison is so huge right now because they have all of these, you know, like unrealistic expectations of the perfect spouse or the perfect mate. You know, and that forms a lot of insecurities because I'm not perfect. You know, no one is perfect. And I feel like you should appreciate that person. And honestly, to get even deeper, if you want to be in like a successful relationship, you can work out, you can cook, you can clean, you can have a 6-figure, 7, 8-figure salary. If you do not know how to spiritually connect with that, it's not going to work because spiritual warfare is real. Spiritual warfare is massive, and you have to be able to spiritually connect with that person. So when you are attacked, you know, when situations occur and they arise, you know how to fight through those things. You know.
And when I had watched this old couple. I think they were like 100-something years old. They were talking about like what their secret to marriage was, and they said they kept God at the center of their relationship. God at the center, and then each other, and then yourself. So, you know, just like we were talking about earlier, loving God, loving yourself, and then loving that person. When you love God, that extension of love just pours out through all those other things. And like you were talking about Fox, and that's how you know you can kind of build that family. And it's so important when you're talking about to be connected.
Yeah, because if you love God, you know that God is love. And I'm gonna tell you, I was mad at somebody real close to me, and I was like, you know what, God, you are a loving God. Because right now I don't love this person. You know, so God is love, and guess what? Like when your spouse make you upset, because I'm pretty sure it's gonna happen. Like you're really, really, really angry. You like, okay, I'm gonna love this person because I know how God loves me. So it's just like it does all tie together, but that's what people are missing. Like that's what's not, you know, exposed. Like, you know, they don't talk about this on, you know, major platforms because it's the glue, you know, and I'm not spiritual, but y'all kind of catch my drill. You know, the enemy doesn't want to see stable relationships, especially in the Black community.
But you also have to be willing to love that person for where they are right then, because, you know, we aren't perfect people like we're talking about. And this healing thing that we're talking about self-love, that's a forever thing. Like you're not going to get to this magical place where you're perfect and everything's great. Like life's still going to happen, you know, like you're always going to have to continuously practice self-love. It's not you got to practice it. And so even once you find your person, even still, there's going to be tests. There's going to be moments where you're going to, you know, be tested in that, and you're going to have to continue to practice that self-love. Like it's not going to just, you know, you can't do it and then stop. Like you got to always be working on that.
Yes.
And self-love is another reason, or self-love or me loving anybody, that's another reason why I say I need to get therapy and real counseling before I get into another relationship. I really do believe that. I've had some mean things said to me in the past. I'm like, you know what? Of course I understand as of now, I don't identify with that stuff and I don't have to think about it. But I really do believe that I've healed. I've learned a lot through some of these relationship books that I've been reading the Bible and understanding that my value is based on what God thinks about me, what God created me to do. It's not based on who bills I'm paying, because I ain't gonna lie to you. I've been called broke by a girl I had more money than. I've been called short by a woman I was taller than. And the list goes on, but people will try to demote you and try to make you think that your value is based on what they get from you. Mm-hmm. So, and that's another reason why I'm telling y'all, and I really want everybody to see this and understand this. Look for people that are on your level spiritually. Mm-hmm. Do not be unequally yoked. Mm-hmm. I know damn well I was doing wrong, pairing myself up with people that were not where I was, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, or even financially. So,
yes.
Yeah.
Well, that honestly,
that was my fault.
Good discussion on love. You know, February is the month of love, but it's something that we need to talk about continually because we have to heal. It's a lot of healing that needs to take place in our communities. So this was a good talk, y'all. Like for real, we did good, but we're almost to the end of the show. Thank you, Fox and Ambria Berksteiner, for coming on. Take some time out of y'all busy schedules to chat with us. I appreciate y'all. Shout out to Dawn Farmer. She couldn't make it this week, but Dawn will be with us next week. And of course, my sweet angel, Dominique. I love her, y'all. Dominique is heaven sent. Everyone, make sure you continue to support ATR platform, share to your friends, your family members. And this is Let's Talk About It. Make sure to follow me at Stardacia on my Instagram.
And you can follow me at Melanique on Instagram.
And what's your Instagram name? Fox Ambria, y'all shout out.
It's God Edward Fox on Instagram.
And my Instagram handle is at It's Ambria Berksteiner.
All right. So we will be live next week on ATR, Facebook, and YouTube. Let's talk about it. A show where we talk about everything under the sun for millennials and Gen Z. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see y'all next week.
Bye.
Peace. I like it.